This computer. All right. Hello, and welcome to Connecting with Dick Lam. My name is Sam Lee, and I'm the founder of Connecting with Confidence. And I've got Dick Lam here. How are you today, Dick?
I'm not too foul. How about yourself?
Not too foul. Sounds great. I'm all right. Just working from home, and interviewing people now. Basically, this program is really all about interviewing people with influence, like entrepreneurs, small business owners, and corporate professionals with some kind of influence. And this program is really for getting to know you a bit better, connecting, and at the end there'll be some time to talk about your business as well. So Dick, how was your what's your plans over the weekend?
Honestly, I haven't thought that far ahead. I'll probably do quite a bit of work studying some of this sort of business program on surveying people to find out what they need and want at this stage. So I'll probably look at that. Maybe I'll play a bit of golf or tennis.
Oh, golf or tennis. Yeah, hopefully it won't rain because I'm looking forward to play some basketball as well, even though it's indoor. And so where do you play golf and stuff?
I often hit at the range. There's a few courses around, and I occasionally go to a few courses around here. There's a lot of golf courses in Sydney, I guess, but the range takes a bit less time. Playing around in golf can take quite a few hours.
Yeah, I guess like I haven't played golf like those long driving range before. I always play those like those kind of like those range where you just stay at one area and you just hit the ball out to that course. Is that called a range, golf range, or is it?
Yeah, that's a golf range, yes.
Oh, and that's what you do, right? Or you actually do the real thing, like walk around?
I do both. Yeah, as I said, it's most of the time it's on the range, and sometimes I get on the golf course.
That's great. And what was the other thing you were gonna do? You were gonna
possibly play some tennis.
Oh, okay.
Cool. A friend of mine's bugs me to play tennis every week, so I dusted off these old rackets and started hitting with them.
Oh, great. And keeps you, I guess you're keeping yourself fit in a way, doing sports and stuff. Yeah, so that's great. So what do you like? So how's everything now from your end? Since the last met you, I think I met you in real life when we were having that one-day workshop. And anything new happen?
Look, I've been doing a lot of obviously online stuff now with COVID. So I've done a lot of online seminars and panels and interviewed people and run quite a few little sessions of webinars and seminars online. Mostly doing that, creating some content as well online, and keeping myself busy that way.
Oh, that's great. And how's that going? Like, is that?
Yeah, it's going good. It's you're always learning how to improve things, and how you come across on video, and how to interview people and get the best out of that. Get the best out of them, and also yourself, and make it engaging and entertaining as well.
That's great. So I guess like you've done all this before, like it's nothing new to you, right?
Well, online it's a bit new. I generally do it live in front of an audience, but online it's a little bit new. So I had to get Zoom and work out how to use it, and the tech stuff is not normally my strength. So getting my head around the tech stuff is a bit of I guess learning.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, like it's everyone's different. Like for me, I'm pretty shy, like in terms of and I get overwhelmed as well if I broadcast myself online and things like that. But it looks like you're a natural person, like natural that just does it. So what made you like do your job? Like as in what made you help people to get a dream job, as well as helping them to develop their professional skills?
Well, obviously I've worked in the corporate world and had to get work myself over a long period of time, a lot of different industries, companies, different levels as well. One thing I found, and as you know, I've done a lot of seminars on the side, general seminars, but also specific seminars on getting a job. What I did find was people struggled to do it, even if you gave them a little bit of help, they struggled to put it into practice. So I guess taking that, something I was good at, tying it in with something I enjoy doing, which is speaking and educating people, I sort of thought, okay, well, let's create some content and create a bit of an online academy, so to speak, to help people learn both getting a job, but also general career skills, presentation skills, public speaking skills. For a lot of people in public speaking as well. I've done a lot of entrepreneurial sort of stuff as well, but focusing on the bulk of where people are. I mean, a lot of people like the idea of becoming an entrepreneur. Most people won't actually, either take the step or at some point will come back into the job market. So I figured, that's where I can potentially make a bigger influence, because most people at some point would be looking to improve or even change their career, because not everyone loves what they do as well.
Yep, totally. And is this your passion in a way? Like,
it's one of my passions. I think I found that I like quite a few things, but one of the things I like communicating with people. I don't mind getting in front of a camera, and I don't mind a bit of an audience. And I think one thing I do is I look at problems differently, and I try to get to a source of a problem to cure it rather than look at the symptoms. And I do find a lot of training and education these days are just sort of handling the symptoms, which, makes people agree and nod and maybe pay some money and come back next time. But it's not always, it doesn't always solve some people's problems, especially something like a career or a job. It can be quite a significant problem for people.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I guess there's a lot of people out there, like they're not fulfilled in life, and because they're not doing the kind of job that they want to do. And I guess you have a very big niche market, I guess. And who would you actually? What's your ideal perfect target market, would you say?
Look, there's obviously the niches. I mean, in reality is more certain niches which will probably decide that they need help. The market is sort of broad, but what I found is when I've done seminars, the guys who need more help are the guys who are a little bit harder to help, but they're probably more willing to say, okay, I need some help. So they often are people who are maybe from overseas. They may have studied in a Western English-speaking country like Australia, US, or UK, but they have some cultural things that give them a little bit of a disadvantage. So what I do find is, yes, it takes a bit of tweaking for those guys to really understand and improve. There's obviously local people, anybody who needs help getting a job. But what I find with those people is they do feel like they can figure it out themselves. So it's the broader market, but probably the bulk of the market is that foreign culture from Asia, possibly India, Middle East as well. People who've been educated, even if they've been somewhat educated locally and raised locally, there is that cultural influence that stops them.
That's true. Yeah, like I guess when people start out, like especially on a different environment, I guess they need some kind of help, some assistance, so they can get what they want. And I think what you're doing is very good, like in terms of helping them to improve their skills further, so they can get their dream job, or as well as just improve themselves in general and personal development wise. It's a big thing, and people are willing to invest. And I guess so. You just started.
Well, a little bit like what you do, right? You probably find that's a bit of your market too. People who might be culturally a little bit shy, socially, who need to take a step. To some degree, that can be a little bit harder to train, but on the other hand, they would be more interested in it.
Yeah. So what I do is I train people, I skill people up so they can be more confident when interacting with people, especially yeah, like kind of like international students, somewhat similar to what you do. So they have a lot of probably different culture, communications styles, and actually like really like if they come to Australia, Sydney, it's really about adapting to the Western culture. And yeah, it's really pretty much the same. Like it's all personal development, equip them to be more confident, to fit into the society more. Yeah. And how long have you been how long have you been doing this for, Dick?
Well, I guess doing seminars, I've been doing seminars for years and years. Creating that online content took a while. So probably the later half of last year and sort of much of this year, and doing a lot of online seminars and recording those as well. So, I mean, it's not necessarily, it's never going to be a finished product. You're always constantly improving it. So, but over the years, let's say I've done probably my first seminar on getting a job, be close to 8-9 years ago now, actually, was probably my first seminar on it.
Wow.
And at the time, we're still working and doing a lot of corporate work. I do a lot of consulting work in the finance area, you know, M&A and mergers, acquisitions, and other sort of, could be financial modeling or sort of strategic stuff with different companies.
Yeah. That's great. I guess you've been through it all, like almost 10 years. So I guess.
Well, I think part of it is, you know, what I found is I had to work in different levels, and you know, working with CEOs, CFOs, but also working at low levels and working across different industries. I mean, I have seen other career coaches and spoken to them and attended, watched what they've talked about. And I guess what I felt like I brought was a little bit more variation of experience and perspective, because a lot of those guys have either been in HR or they might have been a recruiter. They tended to have a sort of a point of reference looking at things rather than a broad viewpoint. I've worked in recruitment companies before, even though I wasn't a recruiter. So I've taken it and I've hired and I've looked at the senior levels as well as the more junior levels. So I guess I've attacked or have a viewpoint from different angles. And I think that's partly why I could easily diagnose a cause for something rather than just looking at a certain symptom from one angle.
That's great. I guess you, like someone like you, think out of the box a lot, and that's what really matters to like as in to become successful. Like it's really about doing something different that other people are not doing. And that leads to my other question. So what differentiates you from, like, say, other people like career coach people or even HR recruiters? Like what would you say your perk is?
Well, I'll put it, let me put it in another way. Maybe I can phrase it in this way. So, you know, once upon a time, I had a little bit, let's say, of a problem with my neck. I went to a chiropractor. A chiropractor will always tell you the chiropractic solution. Or you've got a sort of, you know, part of your spine has been misaligned here. We just crack it back. An osteopath, which is soft tissue, will tell you, oh, it's the soft tissue. A physio tells you it's muscle imbalance. Someone else, I've been in a thing called a spinologist, and they say, oh, it's the muscles in the spine here, and they press on those. So basically, it's like if you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So when you have that one perspective, everything is solved by that perspective or that training that you've had. And I've taken a broader view of you know, the corporate life, but also just life, and taking it from the candidate perspective, the recruiter's perspective, the manager's perspective, the guy who watches other people hire. I guess I look from the perspective of everything and can try to get to the root cause of things. And I think that's where I find when people come to either my seminars or listen to what I explain, it's this idea of sometimes you don't know the solution, or, you know, you, like Steve Jobs says, people don't know what they want until you give it to them. People don't really know the cause of their problem until you really show them and the solution. They can try to solve things, but it's not quite right somehow. So I think my intention was not necessarily to become a job coach or a build a career out of this. My intention was really to say, okay, well, I can sort of see the problems, the big picture, okay, and I can sort of give you the solution, but that's not necessarily just what I do. As I said, I've done seminars on a whole lot of things. I've met a whole lot of people. I've worked in more than a dozen industries and different levels. So I think my difference is I feel like I can give the real problem and I give the real solution, where others tend to, the chiropractor cracks backs, the osteopath does muscles, the physio gets you to do exercise to address muscle imbalances and other things.
A take from your end?
Well, I guess it depends on the person, but if I were to sort of try to give a general answer, and look, I was probably the one of those shy people which struggled to build rapport, and it was a bit awkward in conversation. If I were to point out certain symptoms, let's say someone's talking, and then you sort of, in your mind, what's happening is you're waiting for a chance to interject or find something to grab hold to so you can talk about that more. Right? But when you do that, it comes across as unnatural, because the reason, the perspective is you're thinking about yourself, right? You think about how I could engage. Or it's almost like, how can I borrow this guy's energy for him to like me? How do I manipulate this person for them to like me so they will keep engaging with me? So I'm thinking about all the logical content that they give, and I grab hold of, oh, this thing. Oh, they talked about golf, and I've played golf once, and I will talk about, I played golf once. But I think with a conversation, yes, people have something to give, but you have to sort of give back. And I think the perspective you got to take is, what energy can I contribute to this person as well? And it could just be interest, some enthusiastic interest. Women, for example, are generally much more natural at communication, more empathic, because they rely a little bit more on emotion and contributing emotion, leaving themselves a little bit open, but giving themselves giving a little bit of genuine admiration or interest, or almost like banter. It's like, if you don't agree, it says, oh, no, that's not the truth. Come on, tell me. Right? So that is an expression of interest, giving some energy back. And the person now interacts. So the idea is 1 + 1 is more than 2. Right? So a person who's awkward is 1 + 1 equals like, I want to leave. It's less than 1. I'd rather be, it's better by myself than talking to this person. So 1 + 1 is less than 1. So it's almost like, what can you give to this conversation, this other person? And that could be a little bit of knowledge, but often it's just interest and emotion. So that's what I would say to people. You know, everything could be manipulated to say, I'll give some admiration, but it is, genuinely, what can you contribute? And sometimes it's emotion rather than the logic. Men tend to fall into logic rather than emotion. Sometimes it's genuine, I didn't like it. Oh, no, that was awful, right? Or genuine admiration as well.
That's good. I guess, Dick, you're a guy that wants to make things interesting, I guess. I guess, yeah, it's good to actually do it from a different perspective. And yeah, it's pretty good, like what you do, like as in, like, you're a person that is really different from other people, like the way you feel things. And it's really good, like in terms of having that kind of trait when you talk to people, when you communicate with people. So it just makes things more interesting, and for the other person to communicate with you in that sense, which is good. So yeah, so how's your night looking like? Today's Friday.
Night, look, I haven't planned that far ahead. I might go out for dinner with somebody later, and I think I was going to catch up with someone this afternoon. They want some help on a job application or an interview that they've prepared for, and I was going to go visit a shop and buy more fancy jackets as well.
Great, keeping yourself busy. And I know you're pretty like before, like when I first met you, like you were doing a lot of seminars, and now you're hustling for this job career help with other people. So how much time do you spend per week? Would you say roughly for like for this business that you're doing?
Look, I think it would be, standard work sort of hours, you might say, whatever you would look, because I think you look at your business as a job to
Yep.
some degree to
Yep.
get things going, and often more than that even, because it's you're responsible for it. But sometimes that work is learning, and sometimes that work is doing work and creating content, and sometimes that work is a bit of fun as well.
And do you think like because I was in it, like I'm kind of in your shoes, doing a lot of back end work, like as in creating content. Do you find like time consuming, like creating content and put it like say, putting everything up? Well, what are your thoughts on that? Does it frustrate you, or does it you like what you do?
Well, I think it's always learning, and anything, you might have a vision of how it works out, and then when you start doing it, it's not quite exactly the same. So you have to work out how to improve things. And sometimes it's easier doing it yourself. Sometimes it's easier to do it. For example, I've learned a lot of stuff just by hosting some seminars and getting people on.
Yep.
I've worked out some of the stuff that I did wasn't quite perfect, so I can improve on it. So that's an external stimulus, but also something like Zoom is great. You can record it, watch yourself, and then realize, oh, it's not very good, and improve it.
Cool, that's great. No worries. So, do you have any questions for me? Because it's getting towards the end.
No, that's fine. I think it's thank you for having me on, and it was good to catch up again.
No worries. Yeah, it's always good to catch up with people you know, and get to know where you're at the moment. And yeah, like so. The last question is, how do we find out more about you?
How to find out more about me? Okay, well, I do have a website and some groups, I guess. If you want to see when my next events are on and see what content I have, I think I also have a YouTube channel I just started.
Yeah.
The YouTube channel, my website is called jobsearchandprofessionalskills.com. So just one word, jobsearchandprofessionalskills.com. My LinkedIn and Facebook groups are called Career, Job Search and Professional Development, as is my YouTube channel, Career, Job Search and Professional Development something. So you look that up. I've got some good content there.
No worries. So later on, yeah, I'll put all your information into a presentation, and then I'll let people know how to look for you in LinkedIn, check out your website, and where you're at on social media. But yeah, that draws to a close. Thanks for coming to my second episode, and I hope you got some out of it, and have a good weekend, Dick.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, looking forward to see you soon. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.